right, lights, camera, microphone. Ya, mi comandante. Okay, here we go. Good evening. Welcome to the City of Hialeah Planning and Zoning Board meeting for Wednesday, March 27th, 2024. There will be two meetings tonight, land use and regular planning zoning. We'll incorporate both of them into one. Everyone, please rise for the invocation, the Pledge of Allegiance. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity granted us here tonight. We ask that you please watch over us and guide us as we make these decisions here tonight and try to make the right decisions for all those involved. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. You may be seated.
Meeting guidelines. The following guidelines apply to today's planning and zoning board meeting. Any person, whether participating via the web platform, telephonic conferencing, or physical presence at City Hall, interested in making comments or posing questions on any item on the agenda may do so during the meeting. Members of the public may hear the meeting live through telephonic conferencing using any telephone or cellular phone service. A smart device or computer are not necessary to participate in the meeting if you join by phone. All persons participating via the web platform will be muted during the meeting until called upon to be heard. Participation through Zoom requires a computer or smart mobile device with a microphone and web camera. The participant may elect to participate in the meeting using audio only or appear through both audio and video. The video function of all participants appearing through video will be turned off until called upon to be heard. All lobbyists must register with the Planning and Zoning Board prior to item being heard. A maximum of 4 speakers in favor and 4 speakers in opposition will be allowed to address the Planning and Zoning Board on any item. Each speaker's comment will be limited to 3 minutes. Roll call. Mr. Perez?
Here.
Mr. Mason?
Here.
Mr. Iglesias?
Here.
Mr. Jimenez?
Here.
Mr. Ulloa?
Here.
Mr. Santiesteban?
Here.
Mrs. Enriquez? Here. We have a quorum. Administration of oath to all applicants and anyone who will be speaking before the board on any item.
Anyone and everyone who's going to speak in front of the board, please stand and raise your right hand. Okay, todas las personas que van a prestar testimonios frente a nosotros, pónganse de pie para que presten juramento, por favor. Is there anyone in Zoom? Okay, so the Zoom person also, you need to be sworn in.
Do you swear or affirm the truth before this board? ¿Usted jura o afirma decir la verdad ante esta junta?
Thank you. Let the record show the answer was on the affirmative.
Summary minutes or a copy of the audio files of proceedings before the Planning and Zoning Board shall be prepared and submitted to the City Council before its hearing. The Planning and Zoning Board recommendations for the following public hearing requests will be heard by the City Council at its scheduled meeting of Tuesday, April 9th, 2024. LU 1, small scale map amendment from low density residential to medium density residential. Properties located at 4935 East 8th Avenue, Hialeah, Florida, zoned R2, 1 and 2 family residential district. Applicant Felix M. Lasarte, Esquire, on behalf of Elena Lapica.
Mr. Lasarte, long time no see. How you been? Name and address, please.
Did you guys hear me?
Name and address, please.
Felix Lasarte with office at 3250 Northeast First Avenue. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Elena Lapica, who's been a longtime property owner of this site.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
yes,
Let Deborah read it into the record. Thank you.
The property in this application is currently improved with a single-family residential structure originally built in 1956, located at the east side of Lejeune Road, just north of 49th Street. The property is approximately 0.43 acres and is surrounded by low-density residential and commercial uses. The application proposes to create a three-story residential development with ground floor level parking. The amendment concurrency determination considers public facilities availability such as water and sewer, solid waste, drainage, and roads. Water and sewers comply with the adopted level of service, and the school, parks, and roads concurrency determination has been submitted for review or will be submitted for review during the concurrency review process. Staff analysis recognizes that the property is suitable to be amended for a medium-density residential land use due to its frontage on Lejeune Road, which is a state road with currently 15,800 average daily trips, according to the Florida Department of Transportation, AADT website. Its frontage with a state road also supports the higher density land use to serve as a buffer to lower residential areas and encourages the underdeveloped land with a compatible land use. The proposed project will request a multiple family district R33 zoning and a special use permit to expand the neighborhood business district overlay. The request is consistent with the city's comprehensive plan. The recommendation is to approve the land use amendment.
Thank you, Mrs. Stokes. I hear an echo, like somebody is. No, it sounds like somebody's watching it on YouTube and it's backfeeding. Okay, okay. We're gonna fix that in a second. Well, you're not talking, kill the mic. Mr. Lasardi, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Felix Asarte with offices at 3250 Northeast First Avenue. I'm here on behalf of the property owner, Elena Lapica, and her family, who have owned this property for well over 20 years. This property is on Lejeune Road. If you go to the third page of the brochure that I gave you, I think it kind of gives you a layout of where this site is. The site is a rectangular parcel of land that most of the frontage is along Lejeune Road. So developing single-family home there today really does not make a whole lot of sense. In fact, developing townhomes or anything where you're going to have a direct access and you're going to be backing in and out of Lejeune Road really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So the property also abuts a Pollo Tropical, and across the street, there's a car wash. This is a perfect site where you could increase the zoning on the property mindfully and come up with a site plan where you could provide the necessary housing stock that you need in Hialeah. Rents here are very high. So this helps that situation. We're actually going to be offering the city employees, the ones particularly that work on at the municipal center where the police department's at, we're going to be giving them a right of first refusal to be able to rent in this property once we develop it. In the future, we're going to be coming with a zoning application before you, where we're going to determine the height, the size, the color, and all these things that are very important when you're doing a zoning application. Right now, we're just asking for a land use approval to go to medium density residential. And then at the next meeting, we'll talk about landscape buffers, et cetera, et cetera. Because Deborah is, a very thorough, usually before you file a land use application, she makes you submit a site plan to see what exactly you have in mind. So we did submit a site plan. We actually have copies of it here in the file, and you can see that it's a 3-story building. And the parking is going to be interior. At zoning, we're going to be discussing, the number of parking spaces, the ratios and all that. That's not really before you today. However, we've owned the property for many years. The land has been vacant for many years, which really indicates that it's not really good for a single family home. The home next to us is being sold. I don't know if in the future it's going to be redeveloped for something else, but it's already on the market and it's for sale. It's been for sale before this application was even presented. So the idea is that I think you're going to see along these corridors along Lejeune Road, you're going to be seeing more and more of these types of developments because housing is needed in Hialeah and the rents are very high, and it's really a supply and demand. And this is something that will help the supply of affordable residential homes in Hialeah. With that, I'm going to conclude my presentation, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
It's funny that that you mentioned the car wash. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Mr. Iglesias may have a possible conflict with this item, so he is abstaining from hearing this item, so,
Okay, that's
you know,
fine.
just so that you know that it's all on the up and up.
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
But no, as I was saying, it's
Yeah.
just a few days ago, I was at the car wash,
Mhm.
sitting there getting my car washed, and I was sitting there, you know, so we're doing the interior, and I was looking across the street. Man, that property's been there for so long.
Yeah.
And it's so wide, and it just, and here you are.
Yeah,
It just, that's
That's amazing.
before even the red sign and anything. This was just-
right.
Anyway, I'm just babbling, but you have a presentation or this is,
No, I gave you the handout so you could look through the brochure at your leisure. And then if you have any questions, I could.
but
certainly
right now,
answer any
this
questions you
this
may
is for a land use.
This is a land use application.
Application,
Once
okay.
we're done with this process, we'll come in
Yes, sir.
with the zoning, provided that the land use has changed.
Yes, sir. Comments or questions? Okay, none heard from the board. Comments or questions from the audience? Name and address, please.
Hello, my name is William Martinez, and I'm actually the owner of the property next door, 4955 East 8th Avenue. So I'm just here mostly to voice my concerns with, not necessarily in opposition, but in a concern that, you know, now, especially since my property is for sale, it's been for some time, with the idea that, like he says, this area is going to be more commercial coming soon. So that was kind of where we were headed with this intention, and eventually either converting the property or just living it out and renting it out, or maybe, you know, having a family member, but having a 3-story apartment building right next to my pool and seeing, you know, people, that I don't want people looking into my property, or if it'll affect the sellability of my property. So, I mean, I don't know if there's anything as far as the amount of land that is going to be used, if it's a multi-parcel thing, you know, that kind of thing. So that's mostly my concern. And again, I just wanted to have it on record that, you know, I have some concerns as far as getting that approved. Not for the point of development, but in the point of, you know, personal, having a property with all these multifamilies that are going like everywhere now. So, okay, that's basically it.
Thank you. Deborah, is this part of the TOD or the?
No.
It doesn't fall under any of those specifics? And this is strictly for land use?
This is strictly for land use, but the intention, if we can share with you what the applicant, sorry, what the.
Have you
applicant
seen-
brought, Yes.
I took a glance. I mean, I spoke to him earlier.
Okay.
I just, like I said, it's more of a voicing concerns, you know, not necessarily
Okay.
as far as the land use.
This meeting tonight is basically to test the waters as to does that property fit the conditions for the usage of the land, a different usage other than single family home?
Mhm.
As far as the staff is concerned, it does. So the applicant is before us to apply for that, the ability to change the usage of the land. Whether it's a yay or an nay, okay, it's only but the first step. He's gotta, I mean, he already has some designs and some, you know,
Right.
whatnots, but he's gotta come back for planning and zoning and, you know, submit some drawings and some specifics and that's when you should be here also.
Hmm.
Not that you're wrong tonight,
Right.
but you should be at these meetings. You know, the next meetings when he comes up with his
we're-
applications.
Perfect. And we're notified just the same way.
Yes,
Okay. No,
We,
perfect.
we analyzed the proposal and we understood, no, the Pozo Tropical is a very intense use. It's not very suitable to have a home next to that Pollo Tropical. And then there is a residential office on the same street. And you have seen, I'm sure, if you live in the area, you know what is happening on the June roads. You see, you pass by, you see that many have 2 RVs, 4 RVs. Others are doing mechanics in the backyard. So I think it's a better use since apparently there is a lack of living units. This is a better use for the property to provide those units that the market is demanding. And also it's like a buffer for the other residential homes, because if this was in the interior of the neighborhood, maybe we won't be inclined to say yes, but this being on a June Road and north on 49th Street, it is suitable and compatible and consistent with our comprehensive plan and with the uses in the area.
Okay. Thank you.
So again, this is but the first step. I encourage you to keep up with the meetings and, come visit. This is your house, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay, come in and listen to all the debates and all the applications and all the back and forth. And by all means, when the time comes for you to say your piece, do so.
Okay.
I have a
Sounds good.
question from.
Yes, sir.
Is your house on Legion Road or is it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
literally
to the
it's
north.
on Lejeune. It's the property just north of
You're on
this.
Just to the north. Yeah.
And
And
like I said, that's
Yeah,
kind of where we were
it's all-
seeing.
It's all going that way. I recommend you build a quadruplex too, like everybody.
Yeah.
else is doing. That's my
Yeah,
opinion.
I just
You
need.
know,
to
you
find-
might as well jump on the bandwagon, bro.
yeah,
Make some
it's-
money yourself.
you got a couple of nice lots out there.
Yeah.
Especially on the Lejeune Road. It's,
Yeah.
I can't tell you what to do.
All right. No, I got you. Thank you.
Does that answer your
Yes.
concerns?
Yes, I have.
Thank
Thank you.
Don't be a stranger. Anyone else? Anyone in the electronic audience? No? Close to the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve and a
We
second.
have a motion by Mr. Ulloa, second by Mrs. Zarica. Mr. Iglesias? Oh, he's
abstaining.
actually abstaining, Ms. Bo. Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mr. Santi Esteban?
Yes.
Mr. Perez?
Yes.
Mrs. Henricez?
Yes.
Mr. Mason? Item has been approved.
Do you need these back, Felix?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
I mean,
Great.
you're a high roller.
Yeah,
but
we,
these are nice.
we want to
We need one for
recycle
the-
these.
We need one for the.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can have mine.
I also need to do the lobbyist registration whenever somebody has a chance, so I can sign my lobbyist registration.
I have it.
Okay, this will close the land use part of this meeting. And we'll open up the regular planning and zoning board meeting. Everyone has already been sworn in, so you're good to go. Welcome back, Mr. Ulysses.
Item number 1. Approval of Planning and Zoning Board Summary Agenda of March 13th, 2024 as submitted.
Motion to approve?
Second that motion.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mrs. Enriquez, second by Mr. Ulloa and Mr. Mr. Mason?
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Mr. Shanti Esteban?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Perez?
Yes.
Item has been approved.
Okay.
A written decision and resolution will be prepared and presented for review to the city council. The city council is authorized to affirm with conditions or override the decisions by resolution. After the resolution is adopted, contact a member of the city clerk's office to obtain a copy of the final decision and resolution. Upon your receipt of the final decision and resolution, contact the building department to obtain your required building permit. Summary minutes or a copy of the audio file of the proceedings before the Planning and Zoning Board shall be prepared and submitted to the city council before its hearing. The Planning and Zoning Board recommendations for the following public hearing requests will be heard by the city council at a scheduled meeting of Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024.
I want to emphasize something of what she read. That is upon your receipt of the final decision and resolution or ordinance in the case of the variances, contact the building department to obtain your required building permit. Whatever process you're doing here is the first step. It's not finished. You get an approval here, but it's not the final approval. Then you need to follow up and go to the building department and pull all the permits that you need to finalize your process. Either it is a new construction or legalization or demolition or change of use. So I want to emphasize this because many times people come here and they think that here is the end, they got the approval, but no, this is like stage one of all the approvals that you need along the way. If someone needs a Spanish translation, let me know. I'll read this again. ¿Alguno necesita que traduzca en español? No, okay.
Item number 2. Final decision to allow a rear setback of 8.1 feet where 20 feet is the minimum required for an existing metal roof to be legalized. Property is located at 5491 West Fifth Lane, Hialeah zoned R1, one family district. Applicant Martin Gutierrez.
Martin Gutierrez.
Good afternoon, Attorney Joaquin Giron on behalf of Martin Gutierrez.
The septic lot was built in 1956 as a single-family structure. The structure was modified by adding a storage in 1961 under building permit 53255. A Florida room was added in 1966 under permit 7518, and a pool was added in 1967 under building permit 74662. However, the lot has been modified by adding the following improvements without the benefit of a building permit. A front aluminum carport for 2 vehicles, proffered to be removed. Several concrete areas, proffered to be removed to comply with 30% of pervious area. Fences to be legalized, rear aluminum and wood canopy roofs, requesting final decision. Side canvas awning need to be removed, and 9 by 8 feet shed need to be removed. The applicant has submitted plans to request a final decision to permit the rear aluminum and wood canopy roofs to be permitted at 8.1 feet rear setback where 20 feet are required. In addition, the applicant is including in the plans to legalize the installation of fences, removing pervious area to meet the minimum of 30% pervious area, and provide 2 feet all around the property for drainage. In addition, the applicant is proffering to remove the front aluminum carports. If the applicant complies with obtaining permits for legalization or removal of improvements, the property can be brought up to compliance. Recommendations: staff recommends approval with the conditions that I already read.
Thank you. Do you understand the recommendations?
Yes, we're aware of the recommendation, sir.
Okay, any comments or questions?
No, just that my client's 71 years old. Just a little background that I think just to add on what Ms. Storch had indicated, that my client purchased the property as is. It's not one of these cases where homeowner added in lieu of failing to understand the code. He purchased this. We even did the title search that showed up that it was sold, legalized to him at this way. He's doing everything possible to legalize. He's willing to remove the carport and legalize the exterior aluminum roof. I think the setback was 20 feet. If we able to legalize it, it'll be 8.5 of space for him. And again, my client's willing to do so. Just wanted to make it clear that he purchased the property as is. He's willing to do all the recommendations to legalize this, and he doesn't want to be double penalized in that sense.
Understood.
And do you acknowledge, do you understand that this is only one process and then you need to obtain the building permits to do all those things?
And that's why he hired us in the firm, to understand that we're here just after permissions for the variance. We still need to go through the process of the building permits. Once that approved, there will be another steps for inspectors to go out and actually ensure that the property meets up to code.
Exactly.
You seem to know a thing or two.
Mostly in Miami-Dade, very rarely I go to Hialeah, but mostly in
Well-
Coral Gables. And
Welcome to Hialeah.
thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Any comments or questions from the board?
Yeah, through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Is Deborah, the car, I'm looking at the picture of the house. It's a very well kept house, by the way. the carport, the aluminum carport, is that, he has to tear that down?
Well, he can legalize it. He may
Okay.
legalize it.
But it's, you said to tear it down, because that, he spent some money on it, wouldn't it be beneficial to him? So it's, if you guys look it up, the house is very nice, and it'd be a shame to do that. You know, if it'd be a house that'd be badly kept or something, but I see.
Well, that depends, maybe the professional that prepared the plans, he thinks that it was not built in a way that is approved by code, so they can try if the maximum area for, well, look what they have like three different carports there. They have a big carport and two other carports in the back, so.
Oh, I didn't see.
They will
I
be,
can't only see
if
the
you
front
look,
of the house.
if you look at the survey, you will see that there are three different carports, so.
Okay, how about, is the one in the front?
There is one in the front, but adjacent to those, there are two other carports, and that carport is almost on the property line,
Yeah.
probably in the line of
So
the
you
side
have to
line,
reduce it.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
If I may address your concern, once we discussed about legalizing the carport, the code as for hurricane and as to the aluminum was difficult when we submitted the plans.
Okay.
I understand, we agreed with you with your assessment
Yeah,
that
it's a shame, because it's a nice looking house, but yeah, if
It's
if
the-
it's out of code, then it's gotta go.
it's a difficulty whether it meets the Miami-Dade code and as well as the way it's adopted is that it has to be hurricane proof. Like if you do any type of aluminum roof,
Yeah.
that's the difficulty. We would have kept it.
Okay. That's it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Any more comments or questions? Anyone in the audience have a comment or question on this item? Anyone in Zoom? No? Closes the part of the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve with conditions?
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Enriquez, second by Mr. Santiesteban. Mr. Iglesias,
Yes.
Mr. Mason, Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Santiesteban,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez.
Yes.
Item has been approved with conditions.
Thank you.
Very much.
So basically, right now, the ball is in your court. Consult with your client, see what is the next course of action, whether he wants to go through with the legalization or with the reduction of coverage or that, again, that's,
Yeah, we're
On
gonna
your-
be seeking the plans to be approved. Now that we got the approval of the board, we have to go to the building department and get the inspector's approval.
cross your Ts, dot your Is, and talk with your client and come on back.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Yes.
The Planning and Zoning Board recommendations for the following public hearing requests will be heard by the City Council at a scheduled meeting of Tuesday, April 9th, 2024. Item number 3, this item has been postponed until further notice. I'll read the address into the record. 4380 West 12th Avenue. So no action because it's been postponed.
We don't have this on our docket, right?
No.
No.
No,
Okay.
I never included it. Item number 4. Conditional use permit to allow a K through first grade elementary school with a maximum capacity of 24 students in conjunction with a 72 children daycare. And variance permit to allow 34 parking spaces where 42 parking spaces are required. Properties located at 2863 West Second Avenue, Hialeah Zone C2, Liberal Retail Commercial District. Applicant Andres Felipe Rico on behalf of Tiny Toons Preschool, Inc.
Name and address, please.
Good afternoon. I'm acting on behalf of, it's not, okay. Yeah, my
Name and address.
Waldo Farrell. I'm acting on behalf of, the owner, Mr. Rico.
Okay. Your name, your address.
Okay, Waldo Farrell, 2044, Meridian Avenue, Miami Beach.
Thank you. And you are representing the owner.
That's right.
Okay. Has he been registered as a lobbyist? Okay, there's a little form that you need to fill out since you're going to represent the owner.
Oh,
But you can go ahead and, we'll go through this proceeding and then you can fill it out. Thank you.
The property is located at 2839 West Second Avenue, developed as a strip shopping center. However, this application represents an existing daycare and school located within the corner of the Strip Shopping Center, occupying 5 bays of the structure represented under the address 2863 West 12th Avenue. The daycare has been operating since 2009, according to the city's business licensing records, for a maximum of 98 daycare children. The site includes 35 parking spaces and are non-conforming in relation to existing uses. The existing tenant mix in the street mall requires 40 parking spaces. In addition, there are backup parking spaces along West Second Avenue that have been installed without the benefit of a building permit. The daycare operation at the site started in 2013 under the name of Kiddie Wonderland, changing to Shanty Kids Schools in 2022, when kindergarten and first grade were added to the operation. The proposal under this application consists of reducing the daycare that is licensed by DCF for 98 children to a maximum of 72 daycare children and a K through first grade school with a maximum of 24 children. The operation of the daycare is proposed from 6:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. Monday to Friday, and the operation of the school is proposed from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday to Friday. The school operation adds an additional parking requirement of 2 cars. Accordingly, the existing non-conforming parking condition is expanding since 42 parking spaces will be required where 35 are provided, and the applicant is requesting a parking variance to that effect. There is a restaurant, a pharmacy, offices, and a smoke shop operating at the shopping mall. Since the school is operating and the smoke shop was established legally before the request for a conditional use permit for the school, the separation requirement between the school and the smoke shop is waived. Major improvements are required in the property, such as the elimination of the backup parking on West Second Avenue, landscape improvements, and construction of a dumpster enclosure. Those improvements are the responsibility of the property owner. Accordingly, the parking variance shall not be approved and shall be applied by the property owner, proffering also the required improvements. As a parking mitigation strategy, the applicant is stating that the parking agreement was secured for 5 parking spaces at the property located at 2580 West Second Avenue, a church, which is 0.2 miles away from the shopping center. Staff recommends, and the agreement finally includes this, that the satellite parking spaces be utilized by staff so that the additional parking deficit generated by the addition of the school does not affect other businesses in the street mall. Since there is no designated drop-off and pick-up area within the shopping center, parents will have to park and walk their children to the school and daycare. The CUP may be granted and following conditions shall be met to operate the school. The CUP may be granted with the condition that the satellite parking agreement is secured at all times and that the school may remain in operation only if the satellite parking facility or an alternate are viable. Provide signed and authorized agreement for lease parking that has already been provided. Staff shall park at all times at the proposed satellite parking site. 24 maximum number of students in K and first grade, and a maximum of 72 children in the daycare. Obtained a change of use approval within 90 days of CUP approval. Recommendation, approval subject to the above mentioned condition.
Thank you, Mrs. Storch. This is right there next to the La Minutera, right?
Yes.
It's in the same,
Same.
yeah. Okay, you have the floor. Comments or questions?
Well, we understand that we proceed, the adjustment that you are recommending. So it's okay, we don't see a problem.
Yes,
right?
absolutely. So.
Okay, we need your name and address.
Oh, sure. Andres Rico. My address is 800 North Miami Avenue, Miami.
You're the owner of the property?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Of the business. not-
Well, right.
Yes, so we already provide the agreement for the additional parking, so that's done. And then absolutely, I mean, that's what we agreed on, that we downsize our school to meet their requirements, and here we are, just get approval.
Well, 5 years
Thank you,
from
sir.
now, we will send you a letter and you will have to show proof again that you have those additional parking spaces.
Yeah.
If you don't have, then the operations of the school should cease at that.
At that point, we could, if there's that church that allows park there, they don't have the space, we'll be allowed to look for a different option, correct?
Yes.
You're talking about the church across the street.
No, it's 2 blocks going south on the Second Avenue. Have you seen it? It is
Okay,
right,
because I thought you were talking about the church that is direct on the north side of 29th Street.
no. Is the address of the church is. No, is if you go down, go south through the Second Avenue, it's 2 blocks, is right there in the corner.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Comments or questions on the board? Anyone in the audience?
Iglesia Buenas Nuevas is the name, yeah.
I don't know, for some reason I thought it was the one across the street.
Yeah.
It's closer.
Right, well, we tried that one, but now
Yeah.
they're getting,
Okay.
they couldn't.
All right,
Yeah.
anyone in the audience have a comment or questions? Anyone in Zoom? All right, close to the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board
Motion to approve
Second.
with conditions?
with conditions.
Motion by Mr. Iglesias, second by Mrs. Enriquez. Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mr. Santi Esteban,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Mason,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez. Yes. Mr. Iglesias.
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez.
Yes.
Item has been approved with conditions.
Thank you.
Item number 5, conditional use permit to allow a K through 5th grade elementary school with a maximum capacity of 38 students in conjunction with a 52 children daycare. Variance permit to allow 240 parking spaces where 276 parking spaces are required. Property is located at 4100 West 12th Avenue, Hialeah Zone C2, Liberal Retail Commercial District. Applicant, Mayvet Hernandez, on behalf of Big Star Daycare, Inc.
Mayvet Hernandez?
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, it's not you? I said, Ed, you,
Okay.
okay,
So
you don't look like,
I
but anyway.
Guess we would.
let's table the item, yeah.
Okay, let's say with the item, the applicant is not present.
Okay.
Okay, so staff recommends tabling for the applicant to be present to hear this?
You need a motion?
Yes.
Need a motion and a motion to table.
Second that motion.
Okay, motion by Mrs. Enriquez, second by Mr. Santi Esteban,
No,
or was it Mr. Iglesias? I'm sorry, Mr. Iglesias.
That's fine.
You need a date certain. You need a motion, you need to table to a date certain.
The next meeting.
Next-
Yeah.
Okay, so the date you need
Yeah,
to
I'll
say,
say it as
okay.
well.
Does it need to be re-advertised, Endeavor?
The table item? And nobody showed up.
Well, maybe we send the notices.
Okay, I'll resend the notices, yes. Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Mason,
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias.
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez. Yes. Mr. Jimenez,
No.
Mr. Ulloa.
No.
Mr. Santi Esteban.
Yes.
Item has been tabled until April 10th, 2024. Do you need these back? Please. Item number 6, conditional use permit to allow a K through 2nd grade elementary school with a maximum capacity of 20 students in conjunction with a 21 children daycare. Variance permit to allow 84 parking spaces in a shopping plaza that requires no less than 169 parking spaces with 7 spaces allocated to the daycare and school. Property is located at 1570 West 43rd Place, Suites 15, 16, 17, and 18, Hialeah Zone C2, Liberal Retail Commercial District. Applicant, Cesar Mestre, Esquire, on behalf of My Child's Dreams Daycare, Inc.
Good afternoon, Cesar Mestre with offices at 8105 Northwest 155th Street, Miami Lakes. With me today is Janet Lopez Mesa, the principal of the school.
Thank you, sir.
The property in this application is a commercial shopping center located at West 16th Avenue and 43rd Place. The shopping center was originally built in 1997 with approximately 30,000 square feet of area according to the Miami-Dade County Property Appraisal Record. The center includes several businesses and the daycare has been operating since 1997 according to the City of Hialeah Business Licensing Record. The daycare has been operating for 20 years and the school expansion has occurred organically over the years. The school is proposing to house a maximum of 20 school-age students at K through 2nd grade only. The proposal is also maintaining the daycare operation with a maximum of 21 children. The original parking requirement of the center was 90 parking spaces. Since the calculations were approved for retail only, over time, the usage of the center and parking requirements have been modified, and some of the parking space changes have been done without the benefit of the building permit. There are parallel parking spaces to the south of the property, which are not permitted to be legalized due to the width of the one-way driveway. And currently, the approved and current parking count for the entire shopping center is 84 parking spaces, and the uses currently established in the center are yielding no less than 169 parking spaces to satisfy the current uses and parking demand. Therefore, the property owner shall come forward to legalize and regulate the parking spaces. In addition to the parking, the center is required to maintain a certain amount of landscaping, including trees. And landscaping recertification is also a requirement to satisfy the landscaping requirement. We need the applicant to provide a declaration of restrictions for the CUP, including 20 maximum number of school grade students and in K through second grade in conjunction with a maximum of 21 children daycare. Obtain a change of use approval within 90 days of the CUP. And the shopping center property owner shall submit an operational parking plan and parking variance to satisfy the parking requirements of the entire shopping center and obtain a landscaping recertification. Staff recommends denial of the parking variance request and approval of the CUP request.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yeah, let me start off with, we're okay with the conditions. And I have a very small, quick presentation that's up on the screen. The property is 1570 West 43rd. As you heard, this has been in existence as a daycare since 1997. And as I've told you before, and many other ones, as time went on, they went adding grades. They didn't know that they were supposed to come for a conditional use permit. That's why they're here now. The next slide, this is the shopping center. It's on the corner of on the corner of 16th Avenue and 43rd Place. Next slide is the land use and zoning designations. You see it's in a totally commercial area. And the next one is just some pictures to show you exactly where it's located. And we do have reserved dedicated parking spaces, 7 for the school, maximum of 20 children, only grades kindergarten through second, and a 21 child daycare. As I said originally, we are okay with the conditions imposed by staff. So we would ask you for a recommendation of approval, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, sir.
Can I make a suggestion?
Absolutely.
Would you agree to amend the application and remove the parking variance and only leave the CUP? Because if we
Absolutely.
deny the parking variance,
Yes.
then the owner will have to
Yeah,
wait
wait
1
a year,
year
yeah.
to come. So we'll amend the application. You will be only applying for the CUP, and we
Right.
will be
And
hopefully approving it with conditions. And then we'll get to the property owner to make him come.
And if I can, just by way of background, the way we were doing it before, correct me if I'm wrong, Deborah, is the tenant would come in and ask for and submit the CUP application. And if the parking was deficient, we would have to file an application for a parking variance. But I guess with time, it's really not fair for the tenant to have to do that when the owner of the shopping center is really responsible for that. And the one that you're going to have coming up next is a perfect example. There was a shopping center. It was deficient in parking. It was not up to par with landscaping. And I know Deborah had conversations with the owner of the shopping center, which I'm sure is what's going to happen here. And they're bringing up the shopping center to have the proper landscaping, and they're working on the parking lot to make it better than it was. So we'll be happy to withdraw the
And
variance.
one of the conditions that I am adding here, since we are removing the parking, is that 7 parking spaces shall be allocated to this use.
Yes.
Okay, so if I understand you correctly, Cesar, you say you're going to, I'm sorry, Deborah, we're going to amend the application, or I just heard withdrawal?
We're withdrawing the variance, the parking variance application.
And
So we're
go
only
through-
proceeding on the CUP.
And go through with the amended application.
Go through with the conditional use permit for education.
Okay, so,
We had two different applications. One for the conditional use permit and one for a parking variance. We're withdrawing the parking variance.
Okay.
So we're only proceeding on the conditional use permit.
okay, now, everybody understand that now?
Yes.
Because I was like thrown for a loop there. Okay, good deal. Now, the questions? Nope. Anyone in the audience? Anyone in the electronic audience? Okay, Mr. Mestre, since you proffer that you're going to do your thing, we'll take your word for it. We need a-
to approve only the CUP.
Second.
Ooh,
Okay, so motion by Mr.
you're
Jimenez,
catching on.
second by Mrs. Enriquez. Mr. Mason,
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez,
Yes.
Mr. Santi Esteban,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mr. Perez.
Yes.
Item has been approved, only the CUP.
Yeah, the problem when they present for the parking and then the owner is not in line, so we approve the CUP and then it's impossible to get the signature from the property owner to do whatever he needs to do with the parking lot, and then the application gets stagnant forever. The applicants cannot get their license, so we are now separating both things and then we'll reach out to the property owners to make them do what they need to do.
Okay.
Okay. I don't,
Did we,
yeah,
You already
we voted.
We voted?
You're
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
So, item number 7, conditional use permit to allow a K through 5th grade elementary school within a shopping plaza with a maximum capacity of 112 students in conjunction with an 81 children daycare. Variance permit to allow 109 parking spaces where 418 parking spaces are required. Property is located at 4056-4058 West 12th Avenue, Hialeah Zone C2, Liberal Retail Commercial District. Applicant Cesar Mestre, Esquire, on behalf of Sunshine Childcare and Preschool Center. So this item, the applicant has requested to table. Now,
Cesar Mestre, offices at 8105 Northwest 155th Street, Miami Lakes, Florida. We have asked for this item to be tabled. In the recommendations that we received, it's evident that we needed to revise our plans and revise our letters of intent. I can tell you that the plans are in my office and the new letter of intent is done and it will be delivered to zoning department by 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we ask for it to be tabled until the next
the
meeting.
next meeting, which
That's
will be
correct.
April 10th.
Yes.
2024.
And the owner is on Zoom, just so you know. She's
It can be
hearing.
11.
I'm sorry?
It can be 11 a.m.
Okay, I told my secretary, believe it or not, to leave my office at 9:22,
Okay.
so she can be here on time.
Oh,
Okay, so,
we need a motion in a second.
well, yeah, the applicant requesting the table, so.
When are we tabling for?
Next meeting.
For next, oh,
Okay, so,
For the next meeting, correct?
which
Next
is
meeting.
April 10th, 2024, yes.
all right.
So,
So,
Motion to table?
Second?
okay, so we have a motion by Mrs. Enriquez, second by Mr. Santi Esteban. Mr. Iglesias,
yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez,
Yes.
Mr. Santi Esteban,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Mason.
Yes.
Item has been tabled until April 10th, 2024.
Thank you.
If you want to pass the packet,
Item number 8,
save a couple of trees.
conditional use permit to allow a prescribed pediatric extended care PPEC with a maximum of 4 patients and 2 staff members. Property located at 1022 East 8th Avenue, Hialeah Zone C2, Liberal Retail Commercial District. Applicant Cesar Mestre, Esquire, on behalf of New Vision Rehab Inc.
Cesar Mestre, offices at 8105 Northwest 155th Street, Miami Lakes, Florida.
Thank you, sir.
The property in this application is a 1,900 square feet bay within a 35,109 square feet shopping plaza that was built in 1985. The property is considered non-conforming since the existing number of parking spaces does not conform to current requirements. It was approved with approximately 91 parking spaces where 175 are required, now having 88 parking spaces after incorporating accessible parking spaces. The shopping plaza has uses with high parking demands such as 2 restaurants, a daycare expanded into a school, an adult daycare, medical offices, and a coin laundry, among other uses. The parking is consistently full and medical transportation vans frequently circulate through the site, often stopping on the driveway to drop off patients. The parking is so bad that they have to place cones in some parking spaces that they have assigned because it's impossible to find a parking space there. The subject, 1,900 square feet bay, as per current requirements, should have 10 parking spaces. However, as it was approved in 1985, the proportional share of parking would be 5 parking spaces. Given that the existing rehabilitation center already has 8 staff members and services 25 patients per day, their parking allocation is already exceeded, even if the patients do not park in the shopping plaza. The city approached the shopping center property owner and discussed the current conditions of the parking lot, including some parking spaces that were backing out into Lejeune Road, encroaching into a public right-of-way and sidewalk, creating an extremely unsafe condition. Ownership agreed on improving the existing conditions, eliminating the unsafe parking setting along Lejeune Road's frontage, which has already been completed, and submitted a proposal to add 15 parking spaces on some areas that are currently underutilized. Although the additional 15 parking spaces will not solve the existing parking deficit, the elimination of the unsafe parking conditions is an improvement where the parking shortage and congested traffic circulation will now be contained within the site. Accordingly, the prescribed pediatric extended care may be approved with the following conditions: maximum of 2 staff members and 4 patients at the same time with no patient overlapping. 2 designated parking spaces for pickup and drop-off of patients. Posting of signs on designated parking spaces. 10-minute time limitation on pickup, drop-off, designated parking spaces. Staggered scheduling for patients arriving in collective transportation and private transportation. The recommendation is approved with conditions.
Thank you.
For you to know, we have been discussing this for about 2 years because that parking along Lejeune was so bad that we even went there and I drove some stuff and I showed them that and everyone knew and we showed the video. And then when we showed the video to the owner, he understood because there is a bus stop there. And to be able to back up from those parking spaces, you were going into a sidewalk next to the bus stop was an accident waiting to happen. But if you pass now, you will see the trees, the landscaping on those parking spaces are gone.
I'd like to start
And
off.
the PPAC was trapped in the middle.
I'd like to start off with commending Deborah for what she just said. She went above and beyond on this one. This is one of those where the client comes to me and I look at it and I visit the site and I go, oh my God, what are we going to do? But Deborah went above and beyond. She went to the site that I know of at least 3, 4, 5 times. And she contacted the owner and she spoke to the owner because she would tell me there's illegal parking that has been done on Lejeune. And I'm looking at her going, what do you want me to do? They're not my clients. But she contacted them. She explained it to them. And I know because I can help them fill out the application that they're coming in for a parking variance. So that's in the works already. And there's another business that's coming before you very soon also. But thanks to that work, we're here and thank God we have a recommendation of approval. So I just want to go ahead and explain a couple of little things. And Martha Alvarez is here today. She's the owner of the PPAC. She has a business of therapy, occupational speech therapy in the same shopping center. She's had this business for over a decade, not here, but in other areas. And in having this business, she saw that there's a need for this PPAC, this prescribed pediatric extended care facility, which basically is They offer therapy to a lot of children. In the place that they already have, it's licensed. We're not asking for anything regarding that business. But when children have these services, but they need medical attention, nurses, that's where the PPAC comes in. So basically, the way she explained it to me is they're gonna have this space. It's only gonna be divided into 4 sections with a bed in each section. The nurses are gonna come, they're gonna offer therapy to the children, and they're gonna take care of them, which they can't do in the other side. So that's why we only need approval for 4 patients at a time. And the 2 nurses take care of the 4 patients. The children are dropped off usually in the morning, and the transportation that brings them leaves, and then they come back later on and pick them up and take them home. So it's not a constant in and out, and they're there for hours. They're there for hours at a time. So let me explain to you, this is 1022 East 8th Avenue. This is a aerial of the shopping center there. And those spaces that you see on the right side that are diagonal, those are all gone now. And there's landscaping that's been put in there. And then thanks to Deborah's efforts on that. The next page is the land use and the zoning, that's commercial. And then the next one is some photographs of the area. She has the therapy place to the right. And then the doors in the middle where you see the signs, that's where the PPAC is going to be. We do have some assigned spaces that will be used for pickup and drop off as required in the conditions. So other than that, we would be happy to answer any questions, and we respectfully ask you for a recommendation of approval.
Thank you, sir. Comments or questions on the board? Anyone in the audience? Anyone in the electronic audience? Closes the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve with conditions.
Second motion with conditions.
We have a motion by Mrs. Enriquez, second by Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Jimenez,
Yes.
Mr. Santiesteban,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Mason, Mr. Iglesias,
Yes.
item has been approved.
Thank you.
Item number 9, special use permit to allow the expansion of the neighborhood business district overlay. Variant permit to allow 24 units to have an area less than 850 square feet, where 850 square feet is the minimum area required. And only 10% of the units can have an area less than 600 square feet. Allow 65 parking spaces where 84 parking spaces are required. Allow front setback of 5 feet where 10 feet built to line are required, and variance to waive the building mass and building frontage development standards. Properties are located 308 East 9th Street, 330 East 9th Street, and 342 East 9th Street. Hialeah Zone CR, Commercial Residential District. Applicant, Manny Rose Architect.
Good evening, Manny Rose Architect with offices at 18501 Pines Boulevard, Suite 342, Pembroke Pines, Florida.
Thank you, sir.
The properties in this application are located on the south side of East 9th Street between East 4th Avenue and East 3rd Avenue. The consolidated properties include 0.77 acres with central business district land use and CR zone, and are improved with outdated commercial buildings built in the 70s and 80s. The applicant is before the city with a proposal to redevelop the site with a new 4-story mixed-use building, including 1,931 square feet of retail and a gym on the first floor and 33 apartments on top. It's a density of 43 units per acre. Each floor will have 8 one-bedroom, 647 square feet apartments and 3 two-bedroom, 1,164 square feet apartments. 65 parking spaces are proposed to be shared by the commercial and residential units. The proposal complies with the density incentives required for the density increase. To be able to develop the site as proposed, the applicant is requesting a special use permit to expand the MBD regulations to this site in order to build 3 more units than what was the current land use designation allows. In addition, the following variances are requested. Variance to allow 24 units with area of less than 850 square feet, 18 units with 747 square feet, and 6 units with 716 square feet. Allow 16 parking spaces where 84 spaces are required, and allow front setback of 10 feet for the cantilever canopy on the second floor where 10 feet are required, and variance to waive the massing requirement. The apartment size variance could be approved since the proposed area is sufficient for a one-bedroom unit, and the 10 feet front setback variance could also be approved since it is above the sidewalk level. The proposed parking count will allow 2 parking spaces for each of the 9 two-bedroom apartments, 1 parking space for the remaining 24 one-bedroom apartments, 3 accessible parking spaces, and 20 parking spaces for the retail component during the day that might be shared with the apartments overnight. Since no car parking is available on East 9th Street, 20 parking spaces will be available after hours, and on-street parking is available on East 3rd Avenue. The reduced parking count may be approved. To assure the city that the building will be consistent with the submitted plans, the requested variances could be approved subject to the development of the property in consistency with the plans prepared by Manny Rose Architect, dated February 14, 2024, including the proposed site plan, elevations, architectural features, color scheme, and landscaping. As required by Section 98-1639, and to avoid real estate speculation and delay, the applicant will need to proffer a demolition construction schedule and consistency with plans in a declaration of restrictive governance. Recommendation approval contingent to that condition.
Thank you. Manny?
Good evening. We're here again to present one of our nice buildings it's going to be developed on 9th Street. Basically a 4-story multi-family consisting of 24, like Deborah said, 24 one-bedrooms and 9 two-bedrooms. And then the parking, we're providing 65 versus 84. We will make arrangements with the retail portion, and there's parking on the 3rd Avenue area, et cetera, et cetera. And then conditions of the fact that we have 24 one-bedrooms are consistent with what we usually design and here in the city of Hialeah. And my office staff, including my wife, before Mr. Diego Perez asked me, she is fascinated with this building. It's taken a while to do because ownership has put it on the side for a little bit. But it's going to be a very interesting and beautiful building, guaranteed from our office. That's all I have to say. And I appreciate the fact that we do a lot of work here in Hialeah, and we're very proud of the work that we do, of course, with Deborah's consent.
You know, I'm going to make one small
ahead, sir.
comment. And no bad reflection on you, because you know there. Plans prepared by Manny Ruiz, should say Mrs. Manny Ruiz.
No, plans prepared by RA is one of our staff members, Rosie's sister. If you look at the
No, it says that down here at the very bottom, it says plans prepared by Manny Ruiz.
yeah, well, that happens.
Mrs. Manny
Well,
Ruiz?
Mrs.
That is the stamp.
That's, I know, that's,
It
yeah,
is.
that's
We know.
from
we-
your office.
Yeah.
We run a small firm, but we have right now like 33 projects on the board. And a lot of them are here in the city of Hialeah.
I'm just trying to give
I
credit
know,
where
I
credit
know.
is due.
Oh, yeah, I always tell her when she doesn't like coming because she doesn't like the pressure of coming up, but she's sat here with us before.
Yeah, I know. Good deal. Comments or
We
questions?
run a tight ship, and we love what we do, and we show it, and we finish, we start and finish, which is what
Hey,
counts.
listen, the plans and the projects you guys submit, I mean, I take my hat off to you. They're definitely up there.
It's part of the team. It's a team.
Yeah.
Team effort.
And when you get an anonymous good thumbs up from staff consistently,
Mhm.
that means a lot.
Yeah.
That means you guys hit the mark.
Sometimes I'm astonished with people that come up and say that they don't know this, they didn't know that. They don't do their due diligence. Come on, it's so simple. Come on.
Enough of this
I know.
5 minutes of fame, but
Okay, all right.
all right, comments or questions from the board?
Just one question, is it where Panda Animal Clinic's at, or?
It's a 2 or 3 story existing building. I think it is. Yeah, all that's coming down.
Where the veterinarian's at?
I think it's coming, yeah, it's all coming down.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. It's time for that to go.
They could occupy the part of the ground floor.
Yeah. Well, little by little.
True.
There are already 2 buildings now,
Yeah.
4 buildings, 4 new buildings, several, more than 4.
No, they have like,
No, they have 3, the one,
Oh,
the green one, I don't remember the strange names, the green one, the white one, then other ones that by prestige, so there has been a lot of renovation along East 9th Street.
Yes,
Over the years.
yes,
Over,
and there's,
say, over the last 6 years, 7 years.
yes,
But
yes,
there's
and
one that the apartments are really on the sidewalk. Right?
Yes.
Oh,
Well, those
that's
are live work units, so the intent of that is, for example, you're an accountant and you prepare taxes, where you have the first floor where you can have your office and you live on top. So that makes it more affordable, you don't need to rent an office and rent an apartment. That's why it's so close to us.
You know, John, you just mentioned something that I don't know if you've noticed or not. Apartments being on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that one property on Lejeune Road, just south of 49th Street? I think it's like 48th Street, where
Yeah.
it's right on the
Yeah.
sidewalk.
I see that.
Once they came and they changed the land use and then they never did anything. But the problem there was the taking that occurred over years because Lejeune was wider, it was narrower, and then they started to widen
But
it,
that's a hole.
Yeah, but can you imagine having your bedroom window on the sidewalk right there?
Wait,
Those apartments are like that.
yeah, but if you see there's a stoop, so if you're walking there, you don't see the windows because the windows are above.
Anyway. Any comments or questions?
To the chair.
Yes, sir.
So basically, we're asking to have smaller units and 3 additional units.
No.
no,
They are asking for some
Doing the MBD,
variances.
be part of the MBD.
They are in the MBD. That area
we
is
are in
already
the MBD, yes.
Yeah, I'm confused then.
That is already the MBD.
No, our units are, especially our 2 bedrooms are almost 1,200 square feet.
That is not the MBD because the MBD starts west of East Fourth Avenue. So they are asking to expand the MBD regulation.
Right,
And then the size of the units that everyone is asking, because the code is based like in old standards when the apartments used to be bigger. So now to be able to build, they need to make them smaller and.
so instead of 850,
Yeah, yeah.
it's 740.
It's a little bit less, and then a parking variance, but since they have a mixed use component, there are 20 parking spaces that will be empty at night, so the residents that have extra parking spaces or guests will be able to.
I'm not against it. I just want
No,
clarification.
that's okay, that's fine. And the good thing about our developer, is that he sticks to the guns as to all the legal documents that the people that lease the units are, deal with. So I'm very proud of that, they do that. They're very good people.
Well, we had staff members that live in those apartments. And they were always pleased with how they were like maintained.
Mhm.
Okay. Anyone in the audience have a comment or question? Anyone in the electronic audience? Any more comments from the board?
No.
Closes the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Second that motion?
Motion by Mr. Jimenez, second by Mr. Ulysses. Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Santi Esteban,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Mason,
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez.
Yes.
Item has been approved with conditions.
Thank you.
Item number 10. Ordinance of the mayor and the city council of the city of Hialeah, Florida, amending the Hialeah Code of Ordinances, chapter 98, entitled zoning, amending section 98-1536, purpose, and section 98-1539, definitions, and section 98-1541, Hialeah Transfer Station Sub-District, regulating single-use commercial areas and promote vehicular traffic at peak hours and provide for incorporation of a mixed-use development with compatible active uses on the first floor and multifamily residential on the upper floors. Repeating all ordinances or parts of the ordinance in conflict herewith, providing for penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, providing for inclusion in the code, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, let me translate what the attorney wrote there that no one of us understands. So the intention of this, you're seeing how the TOD is growing and is expanding. And the TOD is from, it's on 25th Street and it goes north, but it expands to the transfer station. But then we have the medical corridor on 25th Street that goes from East Fourth to the racetrack. And if you look at the fabric there, you have uses that are not very compatible, like have the street club that I don't know if it will ever get away, but what we are doing, we promote some redevelopment. Then we have the old school of dentistry that sits on a land that is owned by the people, by the city, and is underutilized. You have a hospital, and then you have some other uses there like car lots or those mini markets that who knows what happens there. And at night, all that is closed and the area is an area that doesn't have natural surveillance, because when you have activity like have a lobby of a building or you have a restaurant or something, that creates some sense of safety. So we want to promote what is happening in the TOD, but we don't want the TOD to continue expanding into the residential area. So our proposal here is to expand the TOD along 25th Street from East Fourth to the racetrack. To promote the redevelopment of that area. There are many empty parking lots there. So I think this will help, and this ordinance is about this.
From East Fourth?
From Lejeune to East Fourth.
Ah, okay.
From Lejeune,
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
To the racetrack. Wait a minute.
From Lejeune to East Fourth.
Okay,
From
okay.
East
Let me
from
think
East-
it there.
From East 8 to East Fourth.
That makes sense. That street needs to be cleaned up for sure.
Yeah. So that
That
is
makes
the way, if you promote redevelopment and density and then.
Yeah, we get rid of that strip club there, because it's right, I used to live on 25th Street. And my buddy Georgie had the house right behind the strip club. It was great.
Bueno,
You mean the one underneath
that-
the Metro?
That I don't promise that will go away, but if you provide incentives for redevelopment, maybe there is something that is more profitable there.
I hope so. That'd be great.
Good. Comment or questions?
No.
Anyone in the audience? Anyone in the electronic audience? All right, what's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Second that motion?
Motion by Mr. Ulloa, second by Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Santi Esteban,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Mason,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez.
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias.
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez.
Yes.
Item has been approved. Miscellaneous items not requiring advertising. Item number 11, old business?
Any old business?
No business. Item number 12, new business?
Any new business?
I have a question.
Yes.
When is it that we're going, because we keep saying, everybody's saying we need more apartments, we need more apartments. How many more apartments are we gonna be needing?
Well,
It's a lot we're putting
let me
out.
explain you, because I have been analyzing this. Everyone says that the rents are very expensive. And this is a matter and the accountant will know better than me, of offer and demand.
Yeah.
So if you have a great demand and you don't have offers, the prices will never get down. So if you have more offer at one point, it will be hard for the owners to lease and the prices will need to come down. You will have some kind of balance, so.
Yeah, but if they come down too much, then you're bringing in an element into the city that maybe is not conducive to the city. Because it also hurts.
They won't come down that much, because if someone is building a new building, they need to recover and amortize their investment. So believe me, they won't go to a level so low that you will
That's
have.
what's concerning to me. I'm thinking there's gonna be a gluttony of apartments soon. And then, people are gonna be renting, they're probably doing it right now. There's 2-3 families in
Well,
a two-bedroom apartment.
If you
And that's what's to
if
me.
you have that offer to satisfy the demand, then there is no reason for people living on an RVs or on illegal units. So if someone says.
I don't think that the apartments are ever gonna stop that. I think it's gonna continue happening in the RVs and everything else, because it's just, people are just trying to make money. And even if there's apartments, hundreds of apartments,
Well,
there's
if-
always gonna be that one guy that's gonna put an RV or a boat
Well,
back there.
if there
just
is,
to make a
if there is
parking
enforcement and becomes difficult to put those RVs, then those RVs will be out of the picture and people will need a place to live, they will rent an apartment. And then eventually the condo conversion trend will come and those apartments will come into the market and home ownership will start, but this is not,
I'm looking for.
this is not the time. This is not the time, and that's the economy that we are raising.
You know, speaking of RVs, I was just telling Alex that my last trip a couple weeks ago, right as I was hooking up my truck to the RV, right there. I mean, I was in the process of, here comes code enforcement, right, checking me out. Okay. So
Well, okay, so you see as enforcement.
they're out there. So,
Perfect.
but you know what? I felt, yeah,
I'm legal.
Yeah.
I'm legal.
You are legal.
I am legal. All right, anything else? Ladies and gentlemen? meeting is
Happy
adjourned.
Easter.